if I'm really trying to produce all the green beans and all the pickled beans and all the cucumbers and things like that that my family needs, all the tomato sauce for the year, I need to have plants that are going to succeed. Hi guys, we had a pretty exciting day. We've got a package in, and this is just some of the stuff we'll be using this summer. Some of our things here are to replace things that have died from old age, and some of them are additions to what we're already using. I actually haven't peeked in here to see what's living in here yet, but it's big, and it should only be one thing back ordered, and that was a, let's double check, that was a melon. For some reason the melons always seem to be back ordered. Yeah, one thing back ordered, a melon that should come to me in March, which is fine because there's no way I'm planting melons outside in March anyway. Cantaloupes would freeze to death here in March. So here's one thing I like about this company, and this is from Johnny's, and I'm no way affiliated with Johnny's. I'm just a long-term customer. I don't get free seeds, I don't get free shipping, I don't get free anything that anybody else who was doing business with them would get. I think because I ordered more than $200 worth of stuff, shipping was free. And they frequently have sales. I also had a discount on some of my seeds because of what was on sale. Paper. I use this to light the wood stove. So there's no waste. I don't have to think about what am I going to do with this plastic then. And actually that works really nicely for lighting stoves. Okay, we have lots and lots and lots and lots. We were very enthusiastic this spring. And lots and lots of seeds. Boy, I am looking forward to this. I did something a little different this year. I started doing it a little last year rather, because we have a lot of issues with our environment and our soil and our bugs. When I started gardening here, this area had never been gardened before. There were some bugs, always, but I discovered that by planting at certain times of the summer, in this case later rather than earlier, I could actually decrease the number of things like bean beetles that came in and cucumber beetles. Always interesting to see what's in here. This year I spent a lot of time researching in my catalog, and I looked at disease resistance in plants a lot more carefully than I have in the past. We've had some problems the last couple of years, and it's very difficult to sort out how much of it is disease and how much of it is the weather. I spoke with a couple of neighbors, and pretty much everybody had a very mediocre and late tomato harvest in our area last year. The reason was it was too hot. When you hit over 95 degrees consistently, you tend to have blossom drop. And it doesn't matter what kind of chemicals, what kind of fertilizer, what kind of watering you do, the plants just don't like it. And they drop their flowers in order to basically try and survive. They can't afford the additional energy that it takes to produce those flowers and fruit and still stay alive. So while we had some early tomatoes, a lot of our tomatoes actually never ripened, because when it finally did start to cool down, the tomatoes immediately started setting fruit, and then we were dealing with the fact that it was getting to be fall. We did take some of our tomatoes into our utility building and we hung them in there. You just take the whole plant and hang it in, and we've gotten a few off of that. Tomatoes didn't do well here last year. So I decided to look actively at types of tomatoes. And one of the things I did was go through the charts of tomatoes and look at resistance. One thing that I know people that seem to be confused about is people want non-GMO plants, but sometimes they're afraid of F1 plants. Now, F1 does not mean it's GMO. It simply means that you took plant A and plant B and you put them in close proximity to one another, or you took a paintbrush and took the pollen from one and put it onto the seeds of the other one, and they mix together. Now, that's the same kind of selection that's been done in planting and harvesting since the Stone Age. People have been choosing the best seeds, and they discovered that those hybrids often had special characteristics. Now, it's not done chemically, it's not done through any kind of gene splicing, it's literally done by just moving pollen from one plant to another and then covering the heads, the flowers, so that they will not be cross-pollinated by anything else. In the past, I have done mostly heritage, and every company I've got on my table here has a huge selection of heritage seeds. Even Burpee has some heritage seeds these days. And Totally Tomatoes, Johnny's, Pine Tree, a lot of them have a huge variety of heritage seeds. This is cool, but whether the diseases are newly introduced into the United States or newly introduced into your area, it doesn't matter. We're now dealing with diseases that these plants were not designed to deal with. One of the reasons I like heritage plants is because they breed true. If I grow a tomato plant and I take some of those fruits and ferment off the pulp, I can save those seeds and grow exactly the same kind of tomato plant the next year. You can't do that with F1 because F1 is a hybrid. But while I still grow a lot of heritage plants, I have now switched to sometimes adding hybrids in because of the need for disease resistance. If I'm really trying to produce all the green beans and all the pickled beans and all the cucumbers and things like that that my family needs, all the tomato sauce for the year, I need to have plants that are going to succeed. So I am trying a few more F1s this year than I have in the past. I'm also trying a few that are slightly different than ones that I had tried before, and it'll be fun to follow along over the summer and see what happens. Some of these types I've been using for years and years and years. Some of them are relatively new developments. Some of them are not F1, but they're relatively new developments. They're not an old style tomato, but they have characteristics that I'm really looking for. The ability to tolerate bad weather, cold or hot, things like that. So we'll see how that works out this year. What else do I have in here? I have seed inoculant. Now, some of you probably know what seed inoculant is, and some probably have no clue, because it sounds kind of odd. This one says soybean, pea, vetch, lentil, dry bean, and peanut varieties. This one says pea, vetch, and lentil. So, what these are used for is they contain natural bacteria, and you dust your seeds with them before you plant them. These are used for exactly what was listed here. I bought this for the soybeans and the peas and the vetch. Well, I'm not going to grow vetch, but some of the other beans and stuff, dry beans. I'm not growing any peanuts this year. We haven't tried that here. But they'll all be dusted with this before they're planted. And what that does is it helps the plants to fix nitrogen. It provides them with that bacterial start to fix the nitrogen. And those plants will naturally tend to pump nitrogen into the soil anyway. But you can actually wind up with little nodules on the roots of the plants, which if you let them stay over the winter, will kind of rot a little bit and put that nitrogen back into the soil. And I wanted to make sure that I got these this year because we're a very nitrogen poor environment. And anything that I can get out of the air for relatively free, because this is not that super expensive. And that'll do all the seeds I have for the entire summer. You don't use it on all seeds. It's mostly peas and beans, and things like that. But we grow a lot of beans here. I freeze all the beans that we need for the winter and spring, and to try and have enough to keep us solidly through to our next year's harvest. I do all the dilly beans. My husband loves dilly beans. I do all of our pickles, tomato sauce, things like that. These are the cluster hooks. That sounds funny. But they're for greenhouse tomatoes. And let me open this up here. It's a special hook that goes onto the string trellises. Of course, I can't open it now. I don't want to break the bag. It goes onto the, anyway, it goes onto the string trellises, and it lets you hook this onto the string trellis, and then when you have a particularly large cluster of tomato fruit or cucumbers or anything like that that's a bit heavier, you can help to support that by hooking it into the actual cluster so that the cluster of fruit doesn't break off. Technically, you could use them outside in the garden too. If you had a plant that was producing really large clusters, you just need to tie a string up to your stick or whatever you're supporting your stuff with. And the rest of everything else I have in here is for seed starting. I've always used the short domes that are about that high. That's the sort of dome that came with my original, bought at a major box store, Jiffy Pete pot sort of thing. But this past year I experimented just a little bit with some of these taller ones. And what I found was they were great for those times when you were either trying to grow things bigger but you didn't have the time to pot them up, or you suddenly got a frost that was hitting so that I didn't have to heat the greenhouse where we start our seeds. It lets my plants get much taller without being smushed. And I really like these. It also has, I don't know how well you can see this or not, but it has a little thing at the top that allows you to vent. It's a vent that's got a twisting thing on it, so that I can actually vent those if I want to dump a little of the heat out. And then, more paper. This stove's going to be heavy. Lots more. I needed some more of these. A lot of our old seed starting trays were getting ancient, and it was time. So I bought 5 packs, and these are just the trays that go under them. But this is very exciting. Some of our trays had sort of seen their best days, and it's time to replace them. So in the spring, Johnny's has a sale on seed starting. They have the trays, the flats, the potting mixes, the domes, row covers. I hope this gives you some inspiration to try some new stuff. And I hope you're as excited as I am about a new summer and spring. And we'll keep you posted on how some of these things go, because I'm excited. Somehow grow your own sounds like you're growing something you shouldn't.